Good morning, Turks and Caicos. Welcome to First Edition. My guest today has never graced our set, so we're really honored to have him. Please help me say good morning to the Honorable Kambule Auric Skippings. Honorable Skippings, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on First Edition.
Good morning, Cheryl, and good morning to my resilient people from 86, and good morning to the Turks and Caicos at large. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Let's get started. Now, you won your seat by a razor-thin margin. So does that give you kind of an added responsibility, you think, to your constituents?
Well, what it did was push me to work harder and do more to ensure that the margin wouldn't be so close in the next election. So it's going to be beneficial for the constituents and the community, because I'm going to work and push extra hard, so it wouldn't be no close margin the next time.
It'll be very clear.
Very clear.
So let's just stick with that, Honorable Skippings. What were your thoughts or your emotions when you learned that your opposing candidate was making a legal case of the win?
Well, I was at the polling station the entire day, and I know everything that transpired at the station was within the law. Nothing was out of the ordinary, or nothing went contrary to law, so I wasn't really worried about it as much, because I know all the polling officers, they're professionals. They did what they're supposed to do. They did everything in accordance with the law, so I wasn't really worried about it.
Yeah. And you tried an 86 before, did you?
Yes, I did.
What made you try again?
Because I feel like the people wasn't getting the representation that they needed, and I wasn't going to give up until I win to deliver that representation that the people need in 86.
If you're just joining us, this is First Edition, and we have the Honorable Auric Skippings here with us, the elected Member of Parliament for 86, the Bight here in Providenciales. Now, Honorable Skippings, some have said that a one-vote win demands extra sensitivity and bridge building. How do you plan to reach out to those persons who didn't vote for you?
Well, first I gotta figure out who those persons are, and then reach out and have meetings, and let them know what I'm about and my plans for the community of 86. And of course they'll see the work that I've already started, and I'll continue to do. I just got to work on convincing them to give me that support.
Yeah. Since being elected, what's a typical day like for you?
Well, the phone don't stop ringing. the phone don't stop ringing. But I signed up for that, because I'm here to represent the people, and they're gonna call, they're gonna ask for advice, they're gonna ask for assistance on how to go about doing certain things, but that's what I signed up for. And I like helping people, and I was a civil servant for 21 years.
Wow.
So serving my community, it comes natural to me. I've been doing it for 21 years, and I'm ready to do it for another 20 years if I have to. So it's good.
I've seen a lot of news articles and videos and clippings of you actually donating your constituency allowance?
Yes, ma'am.
What prompted you to do that? Why did you think you should do that?
Well, the constituency allowance should be for the constituents. And then I had a lot of my constituents that needed assistance, and they used to ask for assistance from the former MP, and they wasn't getting it. So I said, well, I would make sure that my constituent allowance goes back to the community, every one of them. It's not, all of them are not going to be going to the schools. I've been helping people personally, some of the older folks that needed assistance that I didn't publicize. But I'm going to make sure every one of my constituent allowance goes back to the community, because that's what we're getting it for.
So you intend to give away all of them?
Every single one, for as long as I'm in Parliament.
Has anybody ever done this that you know of?
No. And that's why I started from the first one. So I didn't make it a part of my day-to-day life. So, like they say, you can't mess what you never had.
That's true. Now, having just won by one vote, are you inclined to push for any sort of electoral changes, perhaps in the way we recount, or how elections are held, or procedures, anything like that? Have you given that any thought?
No, I haven't. I don't have an issue with the process. I think it's all boils down to the candidate. You got to work hard, so it wouldn't be that narrow of a margin. But I haven't given any thought of changing the process or anything. I really don't have an issue with the process.
Yeah. Honorable Skippings, having now secured your seat, it's set. The court has ruled there'll be no by-election in the Bight. What would you say are your top 3 priorities for your constituency?
Well, I'm in the process of forming a non-profit organization. So that is going to be to assist with everything in the community, street cleaning, projects. I would like to even be able to give scholarships and grants to students that need it, take care of the elderly folks. So I'm working, that's gonna launch in another week or 2. And I'm going to formally introduce myself to the hoteliers, the CEOs and managers, so I can build a relationship and start working with them, because I'm going to need their assistance. Because after all, 86 is the breadbasket of the Texan Caucus, and we shouldn't depend on the government for everything. We've got to use the resources that we have at hand to build the community and empower the people. And so that's what I'm focusing on going forward, getting the nonprofit started and meeting the hoteliers and doing projects. And I'm working closely with the government to ensure that the project that was promised to ED6 in the budget session we get what was promised in ED6.
Yeah. What about the infrastructure of ED6, like roads and housing and schools? How do you plan to make those better, or are they okay?
No, they're not okay, especially the roads. And we need roads. The roads in ED6 are deplorable. They need to be resurfaced, and we need proper drainage. And we also need street lights. Some of the roads in ED6 have no lights at all. They're completely dark. It's not safe for the residents nor the tourists. So we need to work on that. And like I said, the government promised to do some of that stuff in the budget. We just got to keep the pressure on and make sure it gets done. If not, like I said, we got to resort to the resources that we have.
Yeah.
With the nonprofit organization, get sponsorships and raise funds to make it happen. I'm not just going to sit around and depend on the government to do everything. Like I say, we in the breadbasket. I always thought ED6 was the easiest constituency to run because of all the major resorts and businesses in the community. So.
How would you describe being received by ED6? I know you're an ED6 guy, but how would you say the entire constituency has received you? Has it been warm and welcoming? Have people said they needed a change?
Yes, it has been warm and welcoming. As you know, for the last 21 years, they voted on the other side. And for them to switch to me, that means they wanted a change, they needed a change, and it's like a breath of fresh air for them. And the welcome was warm and welcoming. It's still that way. Even leading up to the court case, it even gained more momentum and supporters. Because everybody, they like the work I started, and they want to see me continue.
Even in opposition, were you still a worker in ED6? Were you visible in the community?
Yes, I was always visible. I was always visible in ED6. I mean, people continued to call, I continued to show up, and I didn't stop working. Because I knew I was going to run again. I wasn't giving up on them. So I didn't want them to give up on me.
And had you not been successful this time, would you have tried again?
I probably would have. It depends on how they treated my people. If they had representation, if they were empowered, if the community was built up, if they had the new roads and streetlights and everything that they deserve. As long as they wasn't getting what they deserve, I was going to keep pushing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, you've stepped into Parliament during a time that's both opportunity and scrutiny. What kind of MP do you want the people of the Bight to see you as? And what sort of legacy do you hope to leave?
Well, I want to be remembered by the change that I've made in the community, the people I empowered. And my goal is to make ED6 be able to take care of themselves. What's the word?
Self-sufficient?
Self-sufficient as possible. And that's my end goal. I don't want to leave with ED6 having to depend on the government. Like I said, with this foundation, I want to do things that's going to generate revenue for the community going forward, that they'll have for a lifetime. We got to depend on the government for everything, or depend on the donations to the foundation. So I want to create sustainable solutions for ED6.
Yeah.
So even when I'm not there, they still be able to take care of themselves.
What sort of makeup are the constituents in ED6? Are they affluent? Are they lower or middle class? Is there a mix? How would you describe your constituents?
I would say they're mix. And different areas, because my constituency consists of 6 different areas. We have Tower Drive, Long Bay Hills, Grace Bay Gardens, Juba Sound, Venetian Road, and we have the Bight proper. So it's kind of mixed, different areas, different dynamics.
Are there any concerns that you have heard or you know of from your opponent's camp that gives you cause for concern? Anything already being said that you're not doing or you're overdoing? Any concerns? Any criticisms?
No, I really, to be honest, I really ain't paying attention to it. I just focus it on what I'm going to do for my people. So whatever the concerns from their camp is, I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to continue to push and work hard for the people of ED6.
Yeah. Honorable Skippings, let's talk a little bit about the budget debate. You had your first parliamentary budget debate.
Yes, ma'am.
What was that like for you?
It was a great experience. It was a great experience, and I just ready to do it again. I wasn't in agreement with the budget because it ain't much in it for ED6. I wish there was more projects in there for ED6, and I would have been happier. You know, they did the entire budget and forgot about ED6. They didn't give ED6 what we really deserve and what we need. It ain't a matter of want no more, it's a matter of need, especially with the roads and the drainage and the street lights and CCTV for the safety of our residents. You know, it's all about what we need. I mean, we are part of the taxing cage like everybody else. If we can do it in other communities, do it in ED6 as well.
Yeah. So how are you going to advocate for change in ED6 in the next budget cycle then? What are you going to do to make sure ED6 is recognized and gets the finances that it needs?
Well, I'm going to keep the pressure on them. I'm going to keep highlighting what is not happening to the public so it wouldn't be only me applying the pressure. The public will also be applying the pressure. I'm just going to keep highlighting what they're not doing leading up to, well, for the next 5 years leading up to the budget. So to just keep reminding them that we need these things too. Ain't a matter of trying to, you know, just keeping them aware that these things need to happen in ED6.
Yeah. Many have said that this election showed how divided some communities are. How are you planning to make sure that you have a unified constituency? How are you making sure that, you know, your people recognize, you know, what you're doing for them and that everybody is on the same path kind of thing?
Well, like I said, I have 6 different areas. I'm in the process of getting a constituency office as well, so everybody can come and voice their concerns. And I just need to, deliver for all areas of my community so they can know that we are one. And I'm here for everyone, not just certain parts of ED6. I'm going to be there for the entire ED6, and I'm trying to get the government to do that in all areas of ED6, not just certain areas, but the entire ED6, from Tower Drive straight to Venetian Road. So just got to keep the pressure on.
Yeah. As you scrutinized the budget and you went through the whole budget debate session, was there any particular ministry or ministries that you were more interested in than others, or ministries that you're watching?
PPID and health. And
why is that?
Because that's what's needed the most in my community. We need the infrastructure, we need the street cleaning, we need proper disposal of, you know, all that stuff we need. So those 2 ministries that Washington, that's what's needed the most in my community. We need community centers and roads and street lights and CCTV and all that stuff. And then we need a clean, healthy community. Yeah. And we need to be able to take care of our elderly folks as well. So those are the 2 ministries that I keep in my eye on, because that's what's needed the most in ED6.
Well, having said that, Honorable Skippings, what's your relationship like with those ministers? Good.
I have a good relationship with both ministers. So I don't think I should have that big of a problem at all. If they say if they do what they say they'll do, then we shouldn't have a problem.
So now your constituency, the Bight, is a rich community with a rich history and a strong tourism activity, but also pressing social needs. So what specific initiatives are you championing? We know you said you're going to have a non-profit. Are you intend to reach out to the hotels in your area? Because you have a number of hotels in your area. What sort of initiatives besides the non-profit are you going to do? What about community parks and areas for the young people, and like after school sessions and that sort of thing?
Yes, the community center is big on the list, and that's one of the things that was promised in this year's budget for ED6. So I'm going to push that, and like you said, I'm gonna once I have all the plans and everything done, I will put up a poster so they could see what it's like, and I'm going to ask for donations to that as well, because that's going to be beneficial to everyone in the community, even the hoteliers, because crime is an issue in this problem. So we need to create safe space for our young folks, keep them off the streets. Once we get a community center, because they have single parents, they work multiple jobs, and they can't afford a babysitter, so these kids basically raising themselves. They go into work, the kids home by themselves. They can't perform. So if they know their kids in a safe space, they perform better at their job. You got to worry about the young kids. Robbing the tourists or trying to do, so it will be beneficial for everyone, the residents and the hoteliers. So they should want to donate to those causes.
How many parks or recreational areas are there now in your constituency? Like basketball courts, green spaces?
We have the Bight Park, the Lower Bight. We have a basketball court. At Beaches, we have a basketball court in Jubasana. That's still not sufficient. We need a community center, not only in the Bight proper, but in all different areas. So the kids could stay within their communities, close to the home, and be safe. So we need to create parks in all areas of ED6, Jubasana, Long Bay Hills, Tower Drive. It doesn't have to be on a large scale because the communities are small. But we need to create parks and community centers in all areas of ED6.
And the current parks you have, what sort of condition are they in?
Well, they just refurbished the one in Jubasana, but it's just a basketball court and a gazebo. They have no restrooms, no water fountain for the kids, so we need to get those sort of stuff. And the extent the kids are there in the hot sun all day and can't drink water or can't use the restroom. Same thing, the one in the Bight needs refurbishing, and I want to turn that into an indoor gym.
The one in the Bight?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I will turn it into an indoor gym. So it can also be used as a hurricane shelter during hurricane season, which we're now in. So.
Has this political journey changed you in any way? Do you look at life differently now? Are you doing things differently?
Well, you have to, because you have a bigger responsibility. You know what I mean? You're basically responsible for an entire community. So your life will change. Certain things you got to stop and do differently, because then you have people watching you and looking at you. So it will change you, but in a positive way.
Let's go back to the parliamentary debate. I think it was week before last now. You stood up, and for the first time you were making a contribution to the parliamentary budget debate in the Turks and Caicos Islands. So what did you say, and what did you hope your people took away from what you said?
Well, I pointed out that we're being left out and neglected, and it shouldn't be that way. And we deserve everything that all the other communities in the Turks and Caicos deserve. We shouldn't. It's been 2 decades that ED6 been left out. No new roads, no parks, no street lights. The people weren't being empowered. And I just highlighted that needs to change. We are part of the Turks and Caicos just like everyone else. And not only that, we're the bread basket. We're contributing to a huge amount of the revenue in this country, and a huge amount of the employment, but we are still being left out and left behind. It shouldn't be that way. We should be equally like everyone else. You're doing roads and all the other, you're doing this, that, but just not in ED6.
My producer just reminded me that you come from a political background anyway, with a rather famous father.
Yes.
So tell us who that is, and then tell me, did his political career influence you in any way? What sort of influence has he had on this journey you're taking?
Well, he's I always knew my time would come. I just always had a feeling that I would end up in this position. And I always said that to him. He always encouraged me. And of course, you know, he calls me, we're on the phone every day. So he's very, you know, we talk every day. So he's there for guidance. So I ain't have no issues, because if he see me doing something, he say, well, do this, do that, do that. So he's there for me 100%. And of course, I'm going to try to be a better politician than he was.
Some big shoes.
I always tell him that. Just to encourage me, to keep me going. Yeah, so that's the argument me and him have. I'm going to be better than you. I'm going to do better than you.
Listeners, viewers, if you don't know who we're referring to.
Oh, the Honorable Auric Skippings.
That's right. Former Chief Minister of this country, a political stalwart, someone that we know well, the Honorable O.O. Skippings. And but as a young man yourself, how do you intend to effect change? I mean, you know, do you talk to our young men in your constituency? How are you trying to bring about change?
I engage in conversation with the young people a lot and try to steer them in the right direction. And I let them know, if I can do this, you can do it. We're all from the same community. I'm not better than you. We grew up on the same streets, the same neighborhoods. If I could pull myself up and do this, you can do the same. You just gotta want it. You know, go out there and find a job and work hard, save your money, buy up your land or whatever, do what you want to do, start your business. You know, if I can do it, I can do it. And then we're in a growing economy. You know, so get your business license, start your business. I encourage a lot of them to get business license, because, you know, I was in the revenue department my last 9 years in charge of business licensing. So I make sure all of the young guys in the community have a business license, if only to do cleaning or small construction. Those stuff they're good. All right, get a business license, start a small business, try to get a contract with the government. I try to encourage them to want more and to do better.
What about, we talked about your relationship with ministers, and particularly the two that you're concerned about for, you know, the betterment of your constituency. But what about your relationship with your leader? Tell us, what is that like?
With my leader?
Yes.
Oh, we have a great relationship. We have a great relationship. And we talk on a regular. Brainstorm about how we're going to move forward. He's a good guy, very nice guy. He has the country at heart. He has the country at heart. We have a great relationship.
Yeah. What about crime? How is crime in the Bight? Is it concerning?
It slowed down a bit, but we need to keep it under control. We need more CCTV and more police presence. Even though we have a sub-police station in Dubai, we still need more police presence. And again, that's where the community center would come in, to steer some of the young guys in the right direction. So we need to work on that as well. But it's been good for the past few months, and we need to keep it that way. It's been down. We've been hearing nothing happen in Dubai lately. Yeah. Everything was in other communities.
Have you had an opportunity to meet with the Commissioner of Police yet?
No, not as yet. Not since I won.
Okay, but you intend to?
I intend to, yes.
Tell us a bit about fish fry. When you look at fish fry, of course, in your constituency, is there any way you think you would change it or enhance it? Would you develop fish fry into something bigger, better?
I would want to get more people in my community involved. But the fish fry is open to the public. It's had a lot of vendors, but if you look at the vendors, there's very few from ED6. So I'm going to try to get more of my people involved in the fish fry, because we have a lot of people in ED6 that sells food and do craft stuff and other businesses they're not a part of the fish fry. So I'm going to try to push and encourage them to get a part of the fish fry so they could make that extra income, and try to get more of the young fellas involved as well.
We were talking about crime and young people and just your constituency at large. For years, there's been a rumor of a drug problem in the Bight. Is that so? And if so, how are you trying to rid your constituency of this problem?
I don't think we have a drug problem, but whatever it is they say we have, it's all about empowering those young guys so they wouldn't have to do that if it's happening. You know, get them create opportunities for them.
Exactly.
Try to get them jobs or start a business where they could make an honest living. And that shouldn't be hard at all in ED6 because, like I say, we're responsible for like 70% of the workforce. So finding a job shouldn't be an issue. Just got to sit with them and talk to them and try to encourage them and motivate them to make an honest living.
Yeah. You know, many first-time MPs speak of nerves or the pride and the pressure. What was going through your mind as you prepared your remarks for the parliamentary debate, knowing that the whole country, and perhaps, you know, court observers, people from within the region, friends and family you have overseas, that we were all watching? How did you feel?
4 years ago, I would have been shaken and all nervous because public speaking was never my thing. I was always nervous, and I just had to tell myself, you know what, you already signed up for this. You can be doing this for a very long time. Snap out of it, go out there and represent the people. So I just made up my mind that this is what you got to do, and you got to make your people proud. So go there and do your best. Don't be nervous and just let it flow.
Yeah. And during that session, or even a previous session, swearing in and all that, what's the rapport like between you and government MPs, or you and MPs generally, even the independent MP?
What's
the relationship?
Oh, everybody good. We get along good. We eat lunch together every day. Me and the independent candidate, they got us stuck together for Parliament. We ride together. We share hotel room, everything. I have a good relationship with everybody. The stance I took, if I want to give myself and my people a chance, I got to be humble and ask nicely. I can't go in there swinging and punching. You know, I'm not giving myself nor the people of ED6 a chance. So I got to humble myself and ask for things nicely because I'm in the opposition. Don't make sense I create a bad relationship with the government.
That's true. That's true. And you know, your speech was a chance to introduce yourself to the country. I mean, most of us know you already, but those people who didn't, they had a chance to meet you, to hear your views, to hear kind of what your position was and what you wanted to do for the Bite. Do you think you got that message across? Do you think that the Bite heard what you had planned for them?
Yeah, they did, because I made sure they were listening. I picked my time and I said the message, I'm going to be on this time, let everybody tune in to make sure everyone was listening. So the message got out to those, I would say, majority of them. You have some people just don't be tuned into the radio and think they were at work. That's why I chose a time, 5:30 after everyone got off work and would be home and all that stuff, because I wanted everybody to tune in when I made my speech.
Oh, smart.
Yeah.
I'm talking about tuning in. We're reminding you that you can now see us on RTC's YouTube page. So between Facebook, RTC Audio itself, 89.1 FM, you can also tune into RTC YouTube page. Now, Honorable Skippings, you mentioned earlier, you know, about assisting your community, particularly the elders and persons. There's some persons in your constituency who need help, are entitled to it, but didn't know how to go about it. So are you sort of creating any like awareness or educational campaigns as you go along, telling people how to go about things, you know, who to contact for what, that sort of thing?
Yes, I am, and once I do that, my phone will probably stop ringing so much. But I've been, for the last 2 weeks, I've been visiting the older folks to see what they're getting, what contributions they're getting, or what they qualified for. If they're getting NIB or welfare or anything, any sort of pension. If not, then I figure out what they qualify for and try to get them registered and educate them, or, you know, at the same time educate them on what they can get, what they're not getting, so that they can sign up and get it. Because a lot of folks in my community isn't getting anything, and they qualify for a lot of things. Like they qualify for the welfare program because they're probably not getting no contributions from NIB, but they qualify for welfare, but they don't know that. So I'm checking in with them, each one of them, to see what they get and see what they qualify for, and whatever they qualify for, I get them registered to get them extra income coming in to assist them.
And that's important.
Yeah.
Because like you said, some of them are entitled to it.
Yeah, they're entitled to it. They just don't know. They don't know how to go about doing it. So that's why I'm visiting them, and I'm getting them registered, taking the information, and educating them how it works. So
You mentioned your phone, and you know, Turks and Caicos residents have always commented that once we elect MPs, they forget about us. They don't answer their phone. So how many of those calls do you answer?
every single one.
Really?
Every time, as long as I'm, like now I can't answer because obviously I'm on the show, but I'll return every call that I miss while I'm here. I answer all calls.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if I can help you, I'm going to help you. That's what I sign up for. If I don't know how something works, I'm going to go and find out and get back to you, and we work on it together. We move forward.
Yeah. As a young parliamentarian, how receptive are you to criticism or comments? You know, people say, well, Honorable Skippings, I don't think you should have said that, or you shouldn't have done that way. How receptive are you? Do you take that gracefully? Do you absorb it and try and do better or change?
Well, it depends if it makes sense. If I could have done something better, yes, I'm gonna accept it. I mean, as a politician, it ain't gonna be all flowers and your back gotta be broad.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the negative comments. No matter how good you do, they're gonna be negative.
That is true.
So you just ignore that. Then you deal with the constructive criticism. You could have done this, and I said, yeah, that makes sense. I should have done it that way then. Yes. I'm not gonna sit here act like I do everything. I'm the best at what I do. It's my first time, so I have to, be able to take constructive criticism and advice. But the negative stuff, just don't worry about it.
Are you planning on staying in the bite, perhaps next election, going at large?
Probably depends on the position I have in the party. If I become leader, obviously, they're going to want the leader to run at large. I'm going to have to do that. But if not, as long as I can stay in the bite, I'm going to stay in the bite. But it all depends on the position I have in the party. And that doesn't mean I'm going to forget about my bite people and turn my back on them. No. I'm only moving because of, if I move, it's going to be because of whatever position I have in the party.
Now, unlike you, Honorable Skippings, I like politics from the background. I'll be behind pushing you, but not in front. But I'm curious, I want to go back to election night. Where were you during the count? And
I was the counting agent.
When you really?
I was my own counting agent.
So you were actually present for the count?
I was present for the count.
So tell me about it. How did that night go? How did the count go?
Well, we got the count from the machines, and I won by 1 vote. And he wasn't satisfied, so he asked for a manual recount.
Were you tied at any time?
Tired?
Tied.
Oh.
Were the numbers the same at any time?
No. I always was ahead. It was never a tie. What happened, the machine gave each of us 1 vote less. So the machine, I had 359, he had 358. When we did the manual count, I had 360, he had 359. We were never tied. I was always ahead, and we look at all the ballots, everything, all the votes supposed to count, no spoiled ballots counted, so I was satisfied, but I guess he wasn't satisfied, so he did what he had to do.
Was there any time when you thought, hey, this one could shift either way kind of thing?
Well, of course. I was hoping it didn't. Well, of course that'd be running through your mind because it's a close margin. So I did, and I was hoping it didn't shift, but the results stayed the same.
Yeah.
I won by 1 vote. So I just got to work harder and push harder so I wouldn't have to go through that again.
And what sort of campaign did you launch? Were you just simply door to door? Were you in public forums? How did you campaign?
All. Door to door, public forums, social media, everything. I just hit the ground. Every opportunity I get to be on a show like this, I did it. Door to door, and all social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even what the other one called that I don't even use. Can't remember the name.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.
TikTok. I was everywhere.
So we talked about your father already, Honorable O. Skippings, but are there any other mentors or advisors that you have?
Yeah, a lot of the past, leaders from the party, everybody, open welcome me with open arms. If I need any assistance, just call them. They're willing to help at any given moment. They just want to see me do good. They want to see, the party do good. You know? They still have the country at heart.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And your constituents, are they primarily an older generation or more young people?
More young people. We don't have that much old people, because I was actually at a meeting yesterday because I wanted to do something for the older folks, and I realized we don't have that much old folks. Everybody is, we probably have, I can't think of 10 people we have in my constituency that's over 80.
Really?
Yeah, so we don't have that much older folks in the community. Very few.
So it's a young constituency.
Young. It makes my job easy. I can deal with the older folks, get them straight, and find jobs for the younger folks.
And you can relate to that generation as
yes.
well. But now that you've taken your seat and made your first major contribution, what's next for Auric Skippings?
For 86? Just everything. It's not about me. It's for 86. What's next for 86? Like I said, I haven't met the hoteliers yet, so I'm going to finish that the rest of this week. I'm going to officially introduce myself in an official capacity and talk about, donations and contributions to the community, and just continue to build up 86 and empower the residents as much as I can.
And what kind of updates can the constituents of ED6 expect? How are you going to let them know that that you have results, that you've made achievements? How are you going to keep them informed?
Well, I'm working on a constituency office as we speak, and I'm going to use the social media platform. Everything you can't publicize. Some people, they don't like to when they assist. They don't want their names out there.
Yes.
I had a few people reach out to me. They're willing to assist, but they don't want me to call their names. Just keep it, So some things I can publicize, some things you can't. But as much as I can get out there to the community, I will get it out there. So I will have a constituency office, and I will use the social media platforms. And like for the older folks, I could visit them and update them. Keep in contact.
Yeah, Uncle Skippings, you've had a few weeks now to observe the parliamentary procedures and alliances and decorum. Are there any challenges? Is there anything you're not familiar with, or anything that you've been challenged by yourself?
Well, all of the information is there, has been provided to us, so you could always go back and read over it. If you're unsure about something, they make it very easy. The information is there and readily available to you. So they make it as easy. The clerk and everybody else in Parliament, they're very good at their job. They're very efficient and effective at getting the information to us. They make sure everybody is on the same page with whatever laws and policies and procedures, whatever. We have all that information. So if you're not sure about it, just go back and look at it.
Yeah.
And as you go, the more you do it, the more experience, the more you memorize it, and you wouldn't have to be looking back. You can never remember everything, but it's going to come.
And that the whole experience for you in Parliament, even the day of swearing in, what sort of emotions you had that day?
I was happy, excited, and looking forward to representing my people. It's like something I always wanted to do, something I like doing, something I've been doing. I just got to do it on a different level. So I was excited and ready to hit the ground running and to make a change in ED6 and in the Turks and Caicos at large.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier, that you are going to give away your constituency allowance, and so far you've given to schools and to individuals that we won't name. So where else do you hope to put this allowance?
Well, once I have the foundation form, I'll probably send it into the foundation every month, because the foundation will be taking care of the entire constituency. So once the foundation is formed and we got a bank account open, I'll do a direct deposit to that every month. Standing, every month it'll just automatically go into the foundation. Because the foundation is going to be taking care of the entire constituency. So that'll make it easier for me. just send it to the foundation. And
has anyone asked why you did that, besides me?
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking why, but that committee, that funding is for the committee. It's called the constituency allowance. That's where it's supposed to go. That's separate from your salary. You have your phone allowance, you pay a phone bill with it, right? You have your gas allowance, you put gas in your car. The constituency allowance, you give to the constituency.
Logical.
Yeah.
That's the reason, yeah. And so that's why you did it.
That's why I did it.
I'm still trying to wrap that around my head here, but no, I like it, and it's admirable. I mean, and like you said, we don't know of anyone who's done it. I mean, maybe some people have, we just don't know, but it's something that, I've heard a lot of comments and seen a lot of comments about that, people really appreciate the fact that you're giving it back to the constituency.
A lot of people in my constituency is in need of it as well. So I'm going to make sure it goes where it's supposed to go, in the constituency.
Mm-hmm. Now, we've talked a lot, and you said you have a young constituency. What's sort of your message to the young men, in particular, in the Bight, and even the young women, the school children? What message are you going to send to these people? What sort of constituents would you like to be representing?
I want a constituency with young, ambitious people. I want everybody to think, to aim for the stars,
yep,
to get us on a higher level,
mm-hmm.
Get your business license,
mm-hmm.
apply for this job, do this, do that, I want a young, ambitious community, because the better the community do, the easier for the government. It takes the burden off the government. And places like social services, because if you're able to take care of your own family, then we would need to put that burden on social services.
Right.
So I want a young, ambitious community, business-minded, want more for yourself. I mean, don't just settle, break the chain, break the cycle. Not because you see a family did this, you can do better. Mm-hmm. Get a job, start a business, apply for this top job, go to school, educate yourself. A young, educated, ambitious ED6 I want to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What people are curious about the type of parliamentarian you are. Now, I'm sure you'll agree with me. You're not as outspoken as the gentleman we've been referring to earlier. Perhaps you're not even as bold as he is. But what sort of parliamentarian would you say you are? Are you collaborative? Are you reform-driven? Are you, outspoken? How would you describe yourself as a parliamentarian?
Collaborative, reform-driven, humble. I'm a very quiet person. I have to do a lot more speaking now because of the position I am. But anybody who knows me know I'm a very quiet person, and I'm humble. Mm-hmm. But I'm reform-driven and collaborative. I do what it takes to make things better.
Mm. And if something wasn't going right for your constituency, we'd hear your voice, right?
Yes. It's a must. That's what I'm getting paid to do, to represent.
So we definitely hear you.
Yes.
So in 5 years, what do you hope to change for ED6? Is ED6 going to look different?
Yes.
Is it going to feel different? What is ED6 going to be like in 5 years under your watch?
It's going to look different. It's going to feel different. More people is going to be empowered. That little problem we spoke about earlier, but I hope to get that be gone. Everybody be working and making an honest living. The young kids get the education, more master's degrees, and going to college, community college, or whatever. But it's going to be different. It's going to be a different ED6 in the next 5 years.
You mentioned earlier that you spent quite a few years in the revenue department. So how can you help change your community in becoming businessmen and women? You said you're going to encourage them to get licenses, but do you also encourage them to get to know how government works?
Yes, I do. Like that's what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks with the older folks,
right,
and educating
and
them.
Guiding them.
And guiding them. I do the same thing with the young folks. I don't only give them the license. I take them down to Polaroid, you register with them, and they send you the email. You can bid on the contracts and go about different ways. Because I know I have a general idea of how all departments can work. I was a civil for 21 years, and I try to educate them on all those things. They continuously ask me to do it.
Yeah.
So I say, you know what, let's come with me.
Teach a man to fish.
Yes. Instead of feeding the fish, I teach them to fish. Let's go, come with me. I can show you how it's done. So next time you go and do it, then you can show somebody else. You can, spread the message.
So you doing that, do you think that perhaps government needs to do more of that? That government needs to do more awareness about how government works?
They do. They need to do more awareness. They do some, but it's not accessible to everybody. Everybody's not going to log on to the government website to look for this and look for that. I think they need a better way of disseminating the information to the public. The people they need awareness. You know, the government needs to do better when it comes to advertisements.
You mentioned briefly, just for a couple of seconds, that we're in the hurricane season. How prepared is ED6 for this season?
We're getting there. I've got some food stuff in the cart. So what I'm planning on doing is ordering food supplies, not to give out in the community, but in case we have a hurricane, I'll be able to prepare hot meals in the constituency after the hurricane. So I've already got everything in the cart. I don't want to order too soon, because I know storms normally come around end of August, September. So probably the second week in August, I'll make the order and bring in the supplies. And if a storm doesn't come, then I'll package it up and give the food stuff to the older folks in the community. But I've already got everything on order. So in case of a storm, everybody in 86 will be able to get a hot meal at least for 5 days in 86. So I'm making preparations for the hurricane season.
And what about your constituents? Are you preparing them as well?
Yes.
About the season and
Yes.
you know how to be prepared?
Yes, I'm forwarding all information that I receive, and I'm talking to the older folks about it. Make sure everybody receives. Who have I got on my phone? I forward everything in terms of get the information out, I put it on all my social media platforms. Got to educate the people.
We mentioned earlier, well, we've talked a lot about, you know, the Bight being a rich constituency in terms of the development that's there, and more hotels are coming. Do you think that your area is being overwhelmed? Do you think that the locals are soon to be, you know, a very minor part in the whole constituency?
No, what I do think is that they are not benefiting from it the way they should. You know, we should have a zero unemployment rate in 86, with it being the breadbasket and all the development. You know, we shouldn't have young men and women walking the street idle. You know, with all of the jobs in 86, and that's one of the things I'm working on. I say I'm going to try it in the next 5 years. I'd hope to have everybody in 86 on a job. I'm going to push for that zero unemployment rate in 86, because I don't think it should be that way. Not with all of this development in 86.
Yeah, that makes sense. So generally, we're almost out of time. We're winding down. What's your message to not just ED6, but to Turks and Caicos generally? Look at the camera and tell the people of Turks and Caicos, you know, what you hope to achieve, what the type of Turks and Caicos you'd like to see in 5 years.
I want to continue. I mean, I want all the young people to continue to get your education, go to college, get your degree, and have a business mindset. Be ambitious. Always want more. Always reach for the stars. You know, because I want to have a young, vibrant, rich Turks and Caicos at one point, where we have zero poverty. You know, everybody doing well and be able to take care of themselves. That's what I want to see for this country. Everybody on a level playing field. You know, everybody could survive and live comfortable and do well. So to the young people, continue to educate yourself, get your degrees, and be ambitious. Be very ambitious.
And is that the same message for ED6?
ED6, yes.
Yeah. We saw streets being cleaned, I think it was yesterday,
Yes.
in the Bight.
Yes.
How frequent is this going to be?
I hope it be as we need it. That's why I say I'm going to keep close with the Minister from Health. I got him on speed. I said, hey, send. I even got the people with the contract. Hey, send the garbage truck.
Uh-huh.
I got everybody phone numbers. When I see
Yeah.
the stuff come, send the
That's
guys.
so important. I mean,
Yes.
to have a clean, healthy environment and
yes.
constituency. It makes people feel good about themselves. It makes the constituency look good. So it's important.
Yes,
So you're on top of that.
I'm on top of that.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to say before we go?
I think we covered everything
Yeah.
for the morning. Just want to keep encouraging the young people to work hard, educate themselves, be ambitious. We're all in this together. I mean, the people have to do their part as well. We do our part, you do your part. Everybody needs to come together and work together to build a prosperous community.
Mm-hmm. And just before we go, I know you said today you're going to continue visiting the elderly, was it?
Yes.
So what's a typical day like for you?
Well, I wake up.
From sunrise to sunset?
I answer about 20 to 30 calls, respond to about 50 to 60 messages. That's every day. And then I try to get to those folks, deal with the issues, and then I go to the older folks, see what kind of benefits they're getting and what they qualify for, to try to get them registered, whatever benefits to assist them going forward. And I just, as the phone ring, I try to deal with stuff. Sometimes I have slow days with nobody calling. I can relax and take care of me, but most of the time, it's the constituents dictate my day. When I wake up, the phone rings or messages. I try to assist them as much as I can, deal with the issues. I mean, that's what I signed up for. That's what I got to do.
Auric Skippings, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so very much. Don't be a stranger. Come back and visit us on the first edition. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to great things from you as a young man, making sure that your constituency is thriving and is recognized as one of the best constituencies we have here in Turks and Caicos.
It is the best constituency in Turks and Caicos.
It's not my constituency, so I'm a bit biased. But we want to wish you well. Thank you so much for joining us, and please do come again. Thanks so much. We've been talking to the Honourable Auric Skippings, the Member of Parliament for ED6, the Bight here in Providenciales. We thank Honourable Skippings for his time, and we'd like to wish him a very good day, as we wish all of you an excellent day. Join us again on Thursday.